A few days ago, I sent my wife a text. Just a question. What are the 5 things that you have learned since the twins came home? There was no setup, no why. I wanted to know what she'd say if I asked her to actually think about it. And she sent back 6. Of course she did. And one of them, the 4th one, stopped me dead in my tracks. I read it twice, and then I stood there for the longest time before I could do anything else. I'll get to what she said, but first you have to understand what I was actually asking. You see, a year ago, I was the guy who thought his wife needed to change. The guy who shut down when she nagged because in my head, she was the problem. The guy who started doing the math on which weekends he'd get to see the kids and which weekends he wouldn't. And then I came back. Not because she begged me to, but because I finally understood something I had been avoiding for years. That the man she married, he couldn't lead a household. And the man she actually needed to come home, he didn't exist yet. I had to build him. You see, this whole thing I've been building, undeniable, the Mise En Place method, the standards, the cage, all of it comes out of this past year. Out of taking 100% accountability for a marriage that almost died. Out of building systems instead of waiting for motivation. Out of becoming the anchor in the house instead of the leak. Every video I make, every template or guide I write, I'm in it, I'm in the thick. I'm 1 year in. I'm not on the other side of this thing, on top of a mountain telling anybody how to climb it. I'm reporting back from the ledge I'm currently standing on. So when I asked her to name what she had learned, I wasn't fishing for compliments. I wasn't trying to make content. I genuinely wanted to know if any of this had landed for her too, or if it was just me in my own head, taking a culinary term and calling it a marriage philosophy. Here's what she wrote. She wrote 6 things. 6, because she's her and she's always got something more to say. The first one was about loneliness. She said 2 is better than 1, that the hands are full, but the thought of never being alone is comforting. Someone to sleep next to, someone to hold your hand, someone to just exist in your space. The second one was about time. That time isn't real when you have newborns. The days fly, the 1 a.m. feedings drag. Same hour of the same day, different planet. The third one was about scheduling herself. That once the babies fall into a pattern, the adults need one too. That sometimes dinner might get cooked at 2 p.m. and that's okay. The 5th one was about partnership. Your partner is your best ally. That you can't both do the same things. Like, I can't breastfeed and she can't leave to go to work. But you're both standing at the same finish line at the end of the day. The sixth one she told me was about softness. That the babies are meant to soften you. That the moments are fleeting. That you only get one chance to make the space that they grow up in. And a hard heart will miss the last one when it comes. But the 4th one? The 4th one? She wrote Mise En Place. Set up. Tweak it. Make it your setup for a few days, but keep everything in its place so when you are stuck under the babies, someone else can be your hands. You see, she's already familiar with the concept because she too has worked in hospitality as a server, as a bartender, and even as a manager. But I need you to understand what just happened in that text. I've been building this brand for a year, writing about the cage, writing about the habits, coming up with the stations, about how a bartender doesn't just have great speed, he has great prep. The organization behind the bar is the only reason any of it looks fast. The work is already done before the rush even starts. And I've been applying it to marriage, to being a husband, to being a father. I've been writing it as a man's framework, as a husband's toolkit. I never once told my wife any of this. I never sent her a habits file. I never said, babe, here's the concept I'm thinking about. What are your thoughts? She just watched me run it for a year. While I cleaned up the kitchen the night before instead of going to bed angry. While I set her up for success before I went to work. While I prepped the morning the night prior because I knew it would make her day easier and smoother. Especially while having 2 kids and being pregnant, having to do it all solo while I was at work. And then, without me even ever saying a word, she sent it back to me in her own words. That's not a marriage lesson. That's the entire thesis of what I've been trying to say. Listen, if you're a husband watching this and your wife is exhausted and she's snapping at you and you keep asking her what's wrong and she keeps saying nothing, listen to me very carefully. She doesn't want you to read her mind. She doesn't want you to do more. She doesn't want a long talk on the couch about your feelings. She wants a system she can trust when you're not in the room. That's the whole game. When you're not in the room, can your wife find the bottles? Can your kids find the breakfast that's already prepped? Can the diapers be reached with one hand free? Can the night routine run itself if you fall asleep first or pull a closing shift? Because that's what Mise En Place actually is. It's not productivity. It's not a morning routine. It's not a habit stack you saw on a podcast. It's when I'm stuck under the babies, somebody else can be my hands. That's what she wrote, word for word. And she didn't get that from me sitting her down and explaining it. She got that from living inside of a house that finally had consistent habits and stations. At first, I thought the cage was for me, that I built it to keep myself disciplined, to remove the choices, to pre-decide so I didn't have to think when I was tired and the day was already lost. And it is for me. That part is still true. But what I didn't see until recently, when she sent that text from the rocker with one of the girls on her chest, is that when you build the cage right, your wife doesn't fight it. She moves into it. She adds her own stations. She makes it hers. The cage isn't just yours. The cage is the house. And the wife you've been begging to change, when she sees that the structure is real and it's not motivation, that it's not a phase, that it's not a new podcast you just heard last week, she stops bracing against you and she starts building with you. That's what a year of this looks like. Not perfection, not a finished marriage, not a man on a mountain. It looks like a tired woman with 2 babies on her chest texting her husband the concept she didn't know he was building. I asked her for 5 things. She sent me 6. The 4th one stopped me dead in my tracks. And the reason it stopped me is because I finally understood the method was never for the man. It was for the home. The man just builds it first because somebody has to. Now, if any of this hits home for you, if you're at a point in your marriage where you keep saying, I'm trying, and she keeps saying, you're not really, I've put something together called the 5 Stations, a husband's Mise En Place. It's free. It's the actual prep sheet that I run. The morning station, the work station, the return station, the evening station, and the repair station. It's not a checklist, even though there's one included. It's a setup. Build the stations, and eventually your wife will walk into them. Mine did, without ever being asked. Links below. I'm not on the other side of this. I'm only 1 year in. I'm still bartending. I'm still closing the same shifts. I still have mornings when I don't want to get my ass out of bed and put in the work. But the cage decides for me now. And the woman I almost lost, she's not waiting around for me to figure it out anymore. She's already inside. Mise En Place.